Good evening. Well, good evening in Vietnam, actually, but good afternoon in Europe, and good morning for one of our speakers, Alain in US. And welcome to our webinar about our fundraising campaign named Breathe Again Vietnam. My name is Delphine Rousselet. I'm the Executive Director of Eurocham Vietnam. On behalf of Eurocham, I would like to thank you all for your interest tonight. It's a very special webinar today, special for different reasons, and not only because many of you are connected from Europe, which is not so common for our webinars, but also because the topic of our today's event is particularly meaningful in the current storm we're all going through here in Vietnam. During our today's webinar, we will share with you about the latest about COVID-19 situation on the ground here in Vietnam, and the latest news about Breathe Again fundraising initiative, working with hospitals and delivering essential equipments. While our speakers will be talking, please feel very free to send your questions using the chat box for that, and I will address your questions at the end during the Q&A session. With no further ado, let me introduce our speakers. We welcome tonight Mr. Alain Cany, Chairman of Eurocham Vietnam, Professor Dr. Nguyen Lan Yeo, Director of Hanoi Medical University Hospital, Mr. Horst Gecke, Chairman and CEO of Dutch House in Ho Chi Minh, Mr. Grisha Safarian, General Manager at Puratos Grand Place and Honorary Consul of Belgium in Ho Chi Minh City. Alain, let me turn to you. The floor is yours. You are on mute. Alain, you are on mute. Yes.
All right. Good day, everyone, or good night. I would like to welcome in particular the people joining us from Europe. That's the main reason we have selected this time of the day, because we had a lot of interest from Europe, and we found out that they need probably a bit more information about our campaign and the situation in Vietnam. Of course, the news are not great, but as you all probably know, Vietnam has done very well on the until last, I can say last April, last March, in controlling the pandemic pretty well. But since last April, we are facing a really dramatic situation, and that's the reason we launched our campaign, Breathe Again, exactly 20 days ago, on the 17th of August. I think I will leave it to Professor Yu later on to tell you a little bit more about the situation, because I am currently out of Vietnam myself, so probably don't have the latest. When we look at the figures, let's say the number of cases don't mean much, because it depends very much on the testing capacity. But almost 14,000 deaths up to now. I think the rhythm is about 300 to 400 per day at the moment. For a population which is relatively young in Vietnam, which is pretty young actually. So that's a pretty dramatic situation, but I leave it to Professor Yu. In terms of vaccination, I think the country has ordered vaccine at a pretty early stage. In November 2020. And so far, they have received almost 30 million vaccines. And about 20% of the population, a bit less than 20% of the population has received one. Uh, 3 million has received too short. So we are still very much behind, despite big efforts. Let's say in terms of orders, Vietnam will receive vaccine, enough vaccine to cover 90% of the need. But the schedule of delivery is being pushed. Every month they are expecting to receive either via the COVAX scheme or directly direct donation from countries. I think Germany has announced 2 days ago that they will provide an addition 2.5 million. France has announced 700,000 a couple of days before. So vaccines are coming, but the schedule is much slower than we expected. That's why breadth again has been very important, and I'm extremely pleased to report that breadth again is extremely successful so far. Of course, it's not enough, but let me share with you some figures up to date. So through our campaign, we have collected up to yesterday almost 10 billion dong, which is the equivalent of 350,000 euro. So these funds has been collected directly and transferred to the fund of eurocham fundraising of the campaign received, and we have up to date delivered about 1/3 equivalent in terms of equipment. So I will describe that a little bit later. In parallel, and in total cooperation with eurocham, some of our large corporate members have decided to be part of this campaign, but to be separate in terms of image, for sometimes for political reason, sometimes for having an impact in their own country, and for being seen, sometimes for global communication reason. They were doing exactly the same thing, cooperating with eurocham, sometimes even putting eurocham flag with their own campaign. But we did not manage the funds ourselves. They managed the funds, they managed the equipment they were buying. Even we were buying 90% of the time from the same suppliers. So if we put together, and we consider with of course their full approval and recognition, that this is more or less the same campaign we are doing together. So if we put all of this together, in the last 20 days, basically, eurocham members have contributed over 1 million euro, which is, I can say, already beyond our expectation when we launched this campaign 20 days ago. So I think this is a remarkable result. Today we have a speaker joining us, actually, Urs Geke, who is a member of eurocham board, but also the chairman of Dutch House in Ho Chi Minh City. He's one of these large corporates who decided to do a kind of parallel campaign within the campaign. So I will, and we have invited Urs because this is a significant donation, and I'm pleased that he's somewhere in an airport in Europe on his way back, and Urs will share with us what he has done on his side as a European and as a member of eurocham board as well. So you remember that the advantage of our campaign is transparency, efficiency, and impact. Actually, the way we work is that we are in direct contact with the hospital on a daily basis. And Professor here is a very, very well-known professor in Vietnam. He's the head of one of the hospitals we are working with in Binh Duong province. And so we really ask them directly what kind of equipment they want and they need. And this is the way we work. So as soon as we receive the money, we let's say we know in advance, of course, but we are in contact with them and we buy the equipment locally. So far, most of the equipment has been bought locally, and some of the equipments are on the way. I think Mr. Geke will talk about his own program. But so we have a full impact and a direct impact. Be aware that delivery of the equipment, even from, let's say, from Ho Chi Minh City to Binh Duong, which is about an hour or 2 hours far from Ho Chi Minh City, is a nightmare. You need 2 or 3 different authorizations to be able to get your truck, the driver of the truck, yourself, or the supplier to be in the truck. You have to go through half a dozen of checkpoints or even more to show your paper, and sometimes you have to stop midway, come back home, and try again the next day. And this already happened to our team a couple of times. So even for delivering, due to the lockdown situation, even for delivering, unfortunately, medical equipment, which are in desperate need, despite our, can say, a good cooperation and connection with the local authorities, sometimes you have to face a military officer who is doing some zeal and makes your life even more difficult. So we are working with a few numbers of hospitals. Actually, at the moment, we are working with 6 hospitals, all of them being based in the southern province of Ho Chi Minh City. I'm not going to give you the full list here, but of course, Mr. Ye, which is in charge of the Becamex Hospital in Binh Duong, but the Tu Duc City Hospital, the Chore Hospital, the Pediatric Hospital of Ho Chi Minh City. One of our donors requests us to donate to an hospital who was taking care of children being affected by the pandemic. And it is a significant donation. So we are working with the pediatric hospital. We have a direct relationship with this hospital. We know the director very well, and again, we can guarantee to you, to our donors, that the equipment is going to the right place when it is needed and efficiently. So in terms of equipment, maybe Mr. Yu also will go into the details, but it is mostly ventilators. But I understand maybe now they start to have enough of ventilators, and they are more in need of monitors, just to monitor the situation of the patient before he goes to ICU or intensive care. And now I understand that there is already a shortage of medicines as well. So we may eventually, in the coming days or weeks, in addition to equipment, we may have to be involved with medicine as well. So that's where we are. In terms of donations, so actually, when you look at the amount which we receive, which is over the 300,000 euro, actually this is thanks to about 40 corporate donors. The largest donation was is a little bit a bit over $200,000 US. And then we have many donors giving individually, let's say as a company, between 10 and 20. And of course, we have about 30 individuals who are giving themselves an amount which varies from, let's say, mostly a few $1,000 individually, from $1,000 to $5,000. So that's and we have in the pipe. Actually, I'm looking at my telephone because I'm expecting some big news in a few minutes. But we are discussing still with at the final stage with a few large corporates, and we expect to be in position to announce some additional big donation from some big names, mostly from Europe, of course, large corporate in Europe, with a strong interest in Vietnam. But unfortunately, I cannot announce it yet. Even I understand that they are taking the final decision now, and it's almost done. But we are very confident that we will reach 1.5 million euro equivalent within probably a week or two maximum. So that's great news, and eventually more than that. But the 1.5 million, we are very confident with what's happening these days that could be achieved. And that's I think a fantastic result. Of course, and fortunately, we are not the only one doing this type of action. There is many initiatives all around, including from some of our members, but also from the other Chamber of Commerce, some private companies. So I believe this is, I hope, Professor Yu, at least, that this is easing the situation. And with the vaccination campaign, which is going to happen mostly on the last quarter, on the fourth quarter of this year, and on the first quarter of next year, we will get rid of this pandemic quickly. So maybe I will stop here to leave some time for the Q&A and give the floor to Professor Yu now.
Thank you so much, Alain. Professor Yu.
Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to once again to share our situation to all of you. You will see the picture of some ventilator and monitoring already coming to our hospital in Bình Dương. Bình Dương and Ho Chi Minh, Saigon City, is two cities have biggest number of the COVID-19. Now, until now, in Bình Dương, we have 150,000 people have positive with COVID-19, and about 10% of them is very dangerous. In my center now, we have 50 patients intubated, and we have 10 died today, and not like before. We have a lot of young patients. I just lose one patient, only 22-year-old, this afternoon. So we have enough ventilator, and we try to don't keep the patient ventilated, because the mortality in ICU now almost 60 to 70%. We lose patient intubated and hemodialysis and ECMO. We cannot save them. But if we try to treatment early, we have successful to save many patients. We try to using the anticoagulant and anti-inflammatory as soon as possible when the patient have symptoms. And so far, the mortality in Bình Dương is less than 1%. Now we still have 0.7% of mortality. But we have two big issue, big problem. First one, we don't have enough medicine for all patients, and we try to get in from the company, but sometimes the time is very late. And the second one, now I can share the some picture. Can I share this?
Yes, please.
Yeah, we can see this picture. Yeah, we have many patients now need to.
Dr. Hugh, we don't see the picture. We don't see it now.
Now can see.
Yes, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah, we can see it's
yes.
very. This is not my center. This is the same system. We have 3 hospitals under my cover. Is one of them is only for the patient have symptom, but not very serious symptom. Is the patient here only using the oxygen or RFNC, and we try to open more center. For example, this yesterday I tried to reopen another center in Thuận An. You can see here the oxygen. It's not enough to supply for all patients, and you can see that they have the problem in the tongue. And but luckily we still my team still try to do the best. And today I also can share the picture of this patient. We are already intubated this afternoon, just 10 minutes ago. And I'm very lucky about this, because you see, after intubation, the patients normally cannot survive. So we need more medicine, especially medicine from Europe, from the Sanofi company and Roche company. We don't have tocilizumab. The one is very common in Europe and in US. They are already in the guideline of many countries, but in Vietnam we don't have any one pool, because the company cannot supply into Vietnam until now. I have a few, but I already using this. I don't have anticoagulant, especially for enoxaparin and some NOAC, and all of them is not in Vietnam. It's all of them need to import outside. And the second one, I think that's very important to Bình Dương is vaccine. We done 1,400,000 vaccine up to now, and I hope for next week I can finish a 2 million vaccine per 2.7 population in Bình Dương, and it's almost 70% of the vaccine. And I hope the patient not getting more sick, and we can control the situation. Another good news is in 3 days we will open Thủ Dầu Một, is the city of Bình Dương, the biggest city of Bình Dương, for the people can come back to work with the vaccine, and in the patient F0 after 20 days, no symptom, we can come back to work and to go out and to come to the hospital to help us take care of the patient. The last one we need, I think, we need a monitor, because the many center, like you see, a lot of patients, the doctor cannot follow all of them, and you need monitoring, especially the monitoring central. It's very helpful to us. I think the many patients getting better only because you give them medicine as soon as possible, and the good time is a very key point for COVID treatment. And with your help, I hope we can diminish more the mortality of Bình Dương, and with the vaccine, I think Bình Dương and Vietnam can getting better soon. Thank you very much to your attention.
Thank you so much, Dr. Hugh. I would like to turn to Horst. Horst, do you hear us? I see your camera has been turned off. Yes, you're here. You are on mute. Yes.
I'm here. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor, and also Delphine and Alain for your words. These photos were very much shocking to me because I'm not in Vietnam since 2 months, because I hear it from my family and my staff and our friends how really serious the situation is. But a picture, as you know, sends 1,000 words. Thank you very much for this reminder that yes, there is the situation is somehow under control, but way not yet solved. So, and this campaign from Eurocham is really fantastic. Very proud of everyone. Alain mentioned that also some companies themselves made donations, and then also some other business associations, and also my company. To all you guys who are listening into this webinar, and I'm very happy about this great response from European participants in this webinar. This is by no way a competition. We all come together, we share information, and sometimes it's faster, direct. In my case, I heard the call for monitors, and we did, since I was in Germany, negotiate directly with the company Draeger, who is quite well known for respirators and monitors and breathing equipment, for very quick delivery. You can imagine with this pandemic around the world, all the reliable manufacturers are very pretty booked. And can everybody still hear me?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, because I didn't see the photo anymore. And so, Professor, we got 30 monitors from Draeger Vista, model Vista 120S, and together with Savina 300 system software, 15 units. I couldn't get more, but at least we get it out on 15th of September, which is also interesting for everyone that the Speaker of the National Assembly, the Chairman of the National Assembly, with this big delegation right now going to Brussels with 3 ministers, economic, agriculture, and investment. Their plane, I believe Alain has managed with the ambassador there to load more medicine and more equipment. So this really documents, it's not just writing a check or what, you really have to work and follow up to get the stuff, to get it on time. So that's why together with Tektronix International, our company Deutsches Haus has made this effort. And if we get more, we would be sure donate more. A little bit on the logistics, which is also not easy to understand. It's not just getting the equipment, you need permits. And the professor was mentioning about the situation with medicine, especially traditionally, is, I guess in every country, but also in Vietnam, needs very special permits from the Ministry of Health and then down the departments and so on. And this sometimes could be going much faster. Our original intention already in June, when I came to Germany, together with some other companies, we wanted to donate 500,000 vaccines. So we visited the company CureVac, but they had still some development problems. Then we visited BioNTech, fortunately they're nearby, and I have some connections there. But again, also here in Europe, there's a lot of, you can call it red tape, but the regulations and so on. BioNTech cannot approve any donations. So if you are thinking of donating vaccines, it is not easy because you need a 3-party agreement also that ensures that the donor is a credible company person, because there had been donations where they got special prices from the manufacturers, and then they did a business out of it and sold them at higher price. That's of course not the idea. And if they're not imported in the right way without the permit from Vietnam, they get out of date, sitting in customs. But think I'm already over my time explaining how we have worked on that. Why are we doing this? Well, obviously, it is very much for human reasons, to help in this pandemic that has hit Vietnam very, very hard in the last 3 months. And combined also with what comes after this, we need to save the business. We need to be able to continue to employ people and continue their livelihood. All the industrial parks are closed right now, especially Binjung is hardest hit. So if you're in Europe and you have access to equipment, even testing equipment helps. Everything helps. And I think there was a list of medicines from the professor. Maybe I'm happy to contact it.
Horst, we lost you for the very last seconds. So we heard you until now, but just a few seconds. Thank you so much. I hope you stay with us until the Q&A session. Can I leave the floor now to Mr. Grisha Safarian? Grisha, you need to tell us a bit about your action as well. And how did it all start?
So I'll have a few words about how it started. You know, it's always good to have some storytelling. So the current status of the fund, with hopefully reaching a target of 1.5 million euro, it started about 1 month ago with the first operation that I initiated with my company for $6,000. So if we look at the return on investment of those $6,000 as the target of 1.5 million euro we are going to reach, it can be seen as a fantastic success. I think it's a 30,000% return on investment or something like this. And as Alain said at the beginning, I believe that the success of this operation is based on a strategy that is favoring full transparency, an efficient way of working, delivering material directly to the hospital who in need, and delivering the material they need. And at the end of the day, what we are trying to do is to have the maximum impact. And I would like to say that impact is actually a trend for all the corporations of this world, a trend of the future. What we are doing today for COVID, we will probably have to do tomorrow for solving global warming issue or ESG issues. So I'm very happy to see that whenever you propose to companies a strategy that makes sense and that is connecting all the dots, it is actually quite easy to raise significant amount of money to do the right thing. And I think this is the hopeful message of this operation, trying to alleviate a crisis that I have been in Vietnam for 28 years. I arrived here in 93. I have never seen the population, my friends, my employee, my partners, I have never seen them in this state of worry. It is difficult to understand from outside. Vietnamese population is very resilient, very brave, and it's very difficult to frighten them. But right now, I think there's a lot of people who are overly worried, very worried about what's happening. In a way, I have the feeling that we are paying for the success of last year, because last year the country did one of the best performance in the world in managing the COVID crisis. Maybe the issue is that we were not at all exposed to the COVID-19. And so natural immunity did not develop, and the vaccine immunity is not yet ready. So that maybe explain the very acute crisis that we are living right now. So that's more or less what I have to say. Thank you to everybody who contribute to this project, especially Eurocham, who took over an initial idea that started with $6,000 and transformed it into a fantastic result of, so far, a target of 1.5 million and counting.
Thank you, Grisha. Thank you so much. Alain, back to you.
Yes.
Do you hear me? Yes.
So should we take a few questions? I think I see a question regarding the
Yes.
hospital of tropical disease.
Yes, we had this question.
Is it the same as a CHORE or not?
No, as far as I understand, it's a different one. And this hospital, we didn't contact them yet. We have a contact name in the hospital, and it's on the list of hospitals we will contact in the coming days.
Let's say this hospital, of course, is specialized on tropical diseases, and I know they are very much affected as well. I think that give us the opportunity to explain again that as we want to have full transparency and a direct impact, I think we have selected a few numbers of hospitals and where we were very confident, knowing the people in charge, that we will have the impact and we will be efficient. Of course, all the hospitals in Vietnam have need, and I believe even some hospitals now are contacting us because they heard about our action. If necessary, we will work with other hospitals. I think this hospital is interesting. It seems that they are doing some research together with the University of Oxford for manufacturing monitoring. Oh, sorry, and but that's a good point as well. Vietnam is even making ventilators now. I understand that this is not exactly it is needed, but Vietnam is also working hard to develop their own vaccine. I think it's very important because I think we will get rid of this pandemic only if we will be able to produce vaccine locally in almost all the countries, especially the developing countries. So we are pretty confident that by sometime next year, is it early next year or late next year, nobody knows, that we will have the solution, or at least a better solution. But nowadays, even the shortage of medicine is something which is very alarming, and I think we should try to make additional efforts, Delphine, to see if we can, in parallel to the equipment. I know we still need the equipment, but if we can find a way to buy additional medicines in Europe, in contact with the suppliers, and bring them. There is let's say a commercial flight or whatever, and bring them to Vietnam pretty quickly.
Sure. I got one question from someone who said they are willing to, well, they were thinking about making a donation to Birth Again fundraising, but after looking at the figures, they're wondering if we do need donations, if we still need donations. Please.
Oh, that's the question is for me?
It's for whoever wants to reply, and Dr. Hugh as well, maybe.
I think Dr. Yu, Professor Yu should be the one to say, but I will say yes, but I leave it to Professor Yu to confirm.
Yes, of course. Right now in Bình Dương, I just have a meeting with the chief of government in Bình Dương. Even Bình Dương is a very in the past very active province. They have many company, and the GDP number 3 or number 4 of Vietnam. But up to now, the budget from the government is almost empty. Even to help the medical staff to and the patient, the food we still need to ask some charity group to help us. The situation more and more dangerous because all of the reserve already finished, and in the next few months we don't know how can keep going of our system. And we just decide to stop collect the patient and give them the food. Now we ask people to stay at home, and we only can help them the medicine at home, not the food anymore, because not enough money to take care of them. Because Bình Dương is young people, and they are from another province come to work. They don't have a reserve, and the situation's now very difficult. Not only medical system, is our system now have problem. If we cannot control the COVID as soon as possible.
I would like to add something, if you allow, Delphine, because I am active. I have 2 factories in Bình Dương. What Dr. Yu just described is absolutely the situation. And for our guests in Europe, there is one point which is important to understand, is that the food supply chain is actually impacted for most of the south of Vietnam. And I'm not only talking about the people who are touched by COVID. I mean, I'm talking about anybody. It is becoming problematic to get food, to get water in different parts of Ho Chi Minh, and as Dr. Yu just said, in Bình Dương. So definitely there will never be enough financial support sent through our pipeline, because the work is huge.
Thank you.
I'm replying at the same time to someone who dropped a message offering support to introduce us to the Hospital of Medical Tropical Diseases. Been working there for 5 years now, so I'm replying at the same time. Sorry. Another question: what are the regions where Bruggen is going to be active?
I think you can take it, Delphine.
Okay, I'm replying at the question at the same time. Can you take it, Alain, please? Sorry, being efficient here.
Sorry, what is the question again?
What regions are we going to support with our fundraising
Let's say
initiative?
for the time being, we concentrate in 4 provinces around Ho Chi Minh City in the south. So Bình Dương, which we have mentioned several times, Dong Nai, Long An, Ho Chi Minh, of course, which is the most affected, and the Mekong Delta, so around Canton. So that's where we concentrated. We may go elsewhere as well. That's really, we are monitoring the situation, if I can say so, almost on daily basis with this hospital. We are working, as I said at the beginning, with 6 hospitals so far, but we are increasing the numbers at the moment as we are getting more funds, and to make sure that we cover as much as possible.
Talking about the different provinces where we are going to be active, because we didn't touch all of them yet, but it's in the plan. I saw among the participants today someone from French embassy. We would love to have some support to identify the hospitals where we could support in the Mekong Delta. We so far don't have yet identified hospitals in the Mekong Delta, and we have a strong request from one of our donors to turn to that region as well. Just message.
Yeah, for potential donors here to complete, if you want to support a particular area, we can do tailor-made work here. So that's the beauty of our action, if I can say, because we are on the ground, we are in direct contact with the people in need. So if for some reason, personal, family, whatever, or because your company is active in this province or in this particular city, we can identify the proper hospital, and we can guarantee that your donation will be used for the purpose you want this to be used. And that's really the big advantage we can offer with this campaign. Yeah, I'm working with the French embassy, Delphine, for the hospital in Canton and in the region. I don't know if you are in direct contact with them, but I had a discussion with the French ambassador recently about it, and we should have one or two hospital, which and I'm sure Professor Yu can also help us to identify the proper hospital in Canton or in Travin or whatever.
Yeah. Alain?
Yes.
Yeah, about the if you want to direct the donation to a particular area or hospital, I think it's very good because it helps also to monitor and to push that it gets quicker to that needed place. And when a certain hospital knows something is coming, they can from their side also follow up. That's why Professor Yu, the 30 monitoring machines that you seem to really need urgently, they are donated to the People's Committee of Ho Chi Minh City, and they have accepted it as a recipient. See, it's again this three-party thing, right? You give a donation, you need the manufacturer, and then you need the recipient to agree. That also took 1 week. But now, if you can separately to Delphine or to me send 2 or 3 hospital names, we will be more proactive that it goes very quickly to where it's needed.
Yeah, that's the way we work. Thank you. That's the way we work. Of course, we work in total cooperation with the local authorities and the government of Binh Duong, and where we have to work directly with the hospital, because that's much more efficient. As you know, we are in a country where the bureaucracy, which they have inherited from the French probably, is still very, very, very big. And to move a machine from a place to another, you need 20 signatures. So we work directly with people like Professor Yu. They also have access to the local authorities, so they can speed up the paperwork and the process. And we are able to manage an equipment, let's say, within a few days now. And I think the challenge of the team in the coming days and weeks, Delphine, will be, of course, to make sure that we still have a pretty large gap between the amount received and the amount spent. And now we will have to use this money within a week or 2, maximum. Absolutely. I know there is a bit of shortage of equipment. Some equipment are going through the custom at the moment, all this. So this gap will be reduced very quickly. But that's where I believe we will be efficient. So no doubt we need more. The country needs more. And well noted from Professor Yu that in addition to equipment, there is now a shortage of medicine. We have to check with the custom as well, because I was contacted recently by a big importer of medicine that he had 95 containers which were blocked in Cat Lai port. So we have to make sure that these containers are unloaded from the ship if they quickly, and go through the custom quickly if there is a desperate need of this medicine.
Absolutely. If I may take a minute, because this whole fundraising and this whole initiative, it would not be possible without the donors, of course, but it won't be possible neither with the task force we have put together. I just want to address here a very big thank you to the team, because they are working like crazy. I know they are here all listening to the webinar. They are extremely proud of what we are doing. They are very proud of every time we receive a new donation, no matter the amount. They are extremely, extremely proud and happy. So yes, I just want to take this opportunity to thank the whole team, because they're doing a great, great job. Sorry for that message. It was really important to me.
Delphine, I can second you on this, because you introduced me to your task force at the very beginning, and they have been fantastic from day one, actually. So thank you to them. They are really the people who are guaranteeing that this operation is going to be efficient and impactful.
absolutely. So one day we will do a webinar with all of them to introduce them. They really deserve it. Another thing, it's also from my personal experience in the last 2 weeks, we have experienced a lot of difficulties, as Alain mentioned, traveling from one province to the other. But this is also part of our process in terms of transparency. We want to make sure that what we are buying and donating really goes to the right place. We want to make sure that the equipment delivered is actually new, it's working, we try it before we leave the hospital, etc. But it's actually extremely complicated to travel from one province to the other. Ho Chi Minh is one province, Binh Duong is another one, Dong Nai is another one. And every time I have to go to each hospital, it's a nightmare. It's a nightmare. Last time I received the great support of one of our members. He drove me himself with his personal car to the hospital, but we got a lot of difficulties to go through the checkpoints, to get permits. I'm just saying, if any here has possibility to support us in moving from one province to the other, we are working on this, of course, but again, any support is more than welcome. For Binh Duong, Professor Hugh helped us to get the authorizations, but we will need to go to other provinces as well. And every trip is an adventure.
Delphine, we will meet the Prime Minister tomorrow, as you know. So let's say the day after tomorrow. The leaders of the provinces we are talking about will be part of this discussion as well. So I hope we will get all the necessary permits after that discussion, because despite all our efforts and all our close connection with these leaders, it looks at the lower level, there is still a lot of zeal and barriers. We will resolve the problem. And we know all the difficulties the team is going through. I want to join all the others for tell you how much we appreciate, and a big thank you for the whole team, because this is done in addition to the daily work they have to do. Because eurocham is still active, still working on advocacy, and let's say with additional issues to address due to the pandemic. So we are, and we did not recruit any additional people for Breath Again Vietnam. So it's a fantastic effort and a fantastic result you can be proud of.
We are. I saw different messages of people saying that they have something to offer, either a technology, either different things, who they should contact. I would say contact us, contact eurocham. It's very easy to find us on the net. Contact us and we will guide you to make sure to optimize what you have to offer. Someone was talking about in-kind donations. I'm not sure this is easy to do for the things I just mentioned about moving in the provinces. Same, contact us, and we will make sure to make the most of what you have to bring to this initiative.
Yeah, let's say we will try to accommodate everything, but let's be pragmatic and simple. We have to be efficient and make the impact. And what is really, we know what is needed. Please trust us, and that's what we offer to you. We offer transparency, and we will report on everything we will be doing at the end of this campaign. I know some people would like to then donate even some second-hand equipment, whatever. Of course, we will study any opportunity, but to be efficient, send us the money, and we will tell you, and you can trust that we will use the money well. That's where we need to concentrate about, because if we are less focused, we will be less efficient. So we have to remain extremely focused. If you want to donate yourself to have more, even more visibility, even we give all the visibility to our donors when we deliver an equipment or whatever. I think Delphine, you may have a photo to show what we do when we deliver an equipment, but we give full visibility to our donors. But if you really want to do your own because you have a big fund to allocate. We will support you even to do the direct donation by yourself, but again with the same spirit, making sure that your donation is going to the right place at the right time.
You can actually see the Eurocham and Breathe Again Fund as your reliable pipeline to the hospitals. That's really what it is. This is what we built, and it's working extremely well.
But never enough.
I think, Delphine, it's time to conclude this webinar, which was again a follow-up and an update, and to encourage more donors, especially from Europe, to join us. This is, I cannot say it is the right time. It's really now, I think our timing has been probably a bit late, but extremely good, because it's the time where we need to supply the equipment. When you hear Professor Yu, it's really, and we will be able now within a couple of weeks to use all this money, supply the equipments and the medicines to the hospital, and make the real impact. I think probably the next stage will be to continue to push, as it has been mentioned by our speaker, Urs Keke. We are doing a lot of initiative as well on the vaccine side, as you know, pushing our own government to donate more vaccine. And we even try ourselves very hard to get access to vaccine. But as it was explained, it has been a mission impossible for a few reasons. But vaccine will take over. And I believe all these monitors and because I have no doubt that we will have something else coming up, and I think the hospital will take good care of this equipment to make sure that they can reuse it. Thank you all. Thank you, Professor Yu. We are behind you. We admire you, and thank you for all your efforts. The photo you showed to us was really shocking. And I hope this will be behind us very soon. And thank you, the team, and Delphine, and thank you, Grisha, for calling us about a month ago to take over and develop this personal initiative to a collective European initiative. Yes, Delphine.
The last word, I want to thank the business associations, because we're working very closely with all the chambers. ICHAM, Italian, GBA, German, CCIFV, French, Norcham, Beluxcham, Dutch Business Association. They are all supporting this effort and this initiative, and it's valuable. We couldn't do that without them neither. Thank you so much. I know some of them are here as well tonight.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye-bye. Thank you.
Thank you all.
Bye, Alain. Bye, Delphine.
Good evening.
Bye, Grisha.
Okay,
bye,
bye.
Bye, Dr. Hugh.
Bye now. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Horst.
Welcome. Thank you.